Hi, welcome to another video. I am breaking out apparently. Fun. I'm currently listening to On the Come Up. There are like 2 and a bit hours left. I'm gonna try and finish it this afternoon. I'm currently doing some work. I'm also 100 pages-ish from the end of Mr. Impossible, and I'm gonna try and finish this tonight. It is day 1 of whatever you want-a-thon and clearurshit-a-thon. I don't think either of these On the Come Up is for clearurshit. Mr. Impossible was a carryover from last month, so it's not counting for any specific prompts, but obviously for Whateverathon it'll go for some things, including like reminds me of a pride flag. Queer at a stretch. I'm sure it'll count for some other stuff too. But I am enjoying both. I don't have much to comment on. On the Come Up is a contemporary about by Andee Thomas. She did The Hate You Give. And this is like it's related, it's set in the same world. We're following Bree, who is like living in the same kind of neighborhood as the main character in The Hate You Give, and I'm forgetting what her name is. And Bree is an up-and-coming rapper, but she kind of gets caught up in some stuff, and she's a bit aggressive, and it doesn't go over well. I wouldn't even say aggressive. She's assertive. She's not aggressive, but she gets labeled with an aggressive black girl stereotype, and she gets treated as such. And it really bites her in the ass because everyone's racist as shit, and it's exploring that, and I'm really enjoying it. This is the sequel to Call Down the Hawk, which is the sequel series to the Raven Cycle. I don't like the series anywhere near as much as I like the Raven Cycle, but I think it's because the plot is super confusing. It doesn't really make much sense, but I am enjoying the vibes. It's probably going to be, this is currently averaging like a 3.5 star. This is currently like a 4.5 star. So that's kind of where we're at. My next read physically is going to be The Forest of Stolen Girls. I've already taken the dust jacket off. I'm really excited about it, by June Her. And my next audiobook is going to be The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I've never read anything from her before. I'm excited to read The Prison Healer. We'll see what I think. But yes, that's where we're at. Look at that camera light. I'm so sorry. I just finished listening to On the Come Up by Andee Thomas. I gave it 5 stars, which I'm not surprised. Like, it was really good, and I really liked the way it turned out. I was a little bit scared at like 75%, but more like my heart was scared for the characters. But I think it ended up being a perfect balance. Between like tension and hard, difficult topics, while also not feeling like the most absolute like heartbreaking thing. Like, I wasn't emotionally prepared to be heartbroken, like fully like stabbed in the gut heartbroken, but it was the like balance of like, shit, that's tough, but with a hint of hope. And I thought it was a brilliant balance. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Dinner is cooking. It's not very far away. I'm gonna read some of this while it's happening. And I'm gonna do a yoga class is what I was gonna say. That's on Zoom, so I'm gonna do that as well. And yeah. Oh shit, my stuff's in the car. But I have to go get that. So yeah. My next audiobook is going to be The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Did I say that already in this vlog? It's a fantasy. I'm not sure what to think of it. I haven't read anything from her before, but I won't start that tonight. I'll start that tomorrow. But it's, I don't know how long it is. I think it's pretty equivalent in length to On the Come Up, which ended up being like 11.5 hours. Prison Healer is a bit longer, 14.5 hours. So I guess it's going to take me a couple of days to finish it, but we'll see how we go. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully I like it. But we're particularly picking this because On the Come Up obviously ends with a P, and for the point of this prompt, which was like the last letter of the last title and it is the first letter of the next title, I made a couple of like cheeky rules. My first one was that I'm going to stick like physical books and audiobooks in 2 separate categories because it's hard for me to plan when I'm going to finish one to the other, but I always have a physical book going and I always have an audiobook going, so it's going to have to match the title of the previous audiobook. And I'm not including the, an, anything like that. So On the Come Up with a P, The Prison Healer with a B. So we're going to, with a P, I think that's, like I said, with a B, it's with a P. So that's going to be, that's the reason that's going to be the next audiobook. But and then I think after that will be my reread of The Starless Sea, if I'm remembering correctly. No? Six of Crows. My reread of Six of Crows. I got a couple of rereads happening this month. But yeah, so the next one after that will be Six of Crows, which will then lead into The Starless Sea, which will then lead into Amelia Fang and the Naughty Catacombs. So they kind of roll into each other and get to cover that prompt. So planning. But yeah, that's my current approach. Okay, well I just finished the second book of the month. We did it. Ta-da. Mr. Impossible, done. Did I mention I hate this cover? This is book 2 in the Dreamer trilogy. Yes. Just the sequel to the Raven Cycle. I'm giving this one a 3 stars. I didn't love it. I didn't absolutely hate it either. I do think this trilogy has much less of an arc. Like the plot is very hazy, whereas like at least in the original Raven Cycle, Gansey's plot felt driving to me. This is a lot of just like enjoy the vibes and maybe things will kind of make sense in the end, but even then it's only kind of. It was fine. I enjoyed all the vibes, but just this series doesn't stand out to me as special the way that the Raven Cycle does. I was never a Ronan stan, so like I guess that probably ties into it. Like I was much more interested in Adam than Ronan. But yeah, it's done. We did it. Ta-da. I'm impressed with how much I read today, and I guess now it's bedtime. I'm gonna go to bed and we'll start Forest of Storm Girls. Yeah, that's the name. Forest of Storm Girls. We'll start that tomorrow. So that's the plan. I don't know what's going on, but I just tried to film a little vlog update and it like cleared out like 3 times. I've spent yesterday and today, because I think it was I don't think I updated last night properly, reading The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I'm enjoying it. It's weird. I like the characters, but there's been some things that were like questionable that I think just like weren't given enough weight and or didn't need to be there. Like there was mention of self-harm. It didn't need to be there. The whole plot is kind of based around these trial by ordeals, one for each like element, and the fire one was literally like her being baked in a crematorium. She had to survive with magic, you know. Obviously she did because she's the main character. It's got a few like tropey stuff that like just wasn't surprising or interesting to me. But I'm enjoying the characters. I'm interested to see how it rounds out. We'll see. It does feel a little bit like a YA fantasy that is blending into me, but we'll see. I'm also working on The Forest of Stolen Girls, and I'm about to go to that. I'm gonna try and finish both of these tonight. I'm 260 pages through this. I read so much last night on a live, and this is so good. Her previous book is very city-esque, and this is very like urban, rural and country, and I really like it. And I'm gonna finish that tonight as well. And then my next book is gonna be this, and I'm hoping to get like 100 pages into this tonight as well. And this is a sci-fi set in the 60s, and I loved the first book, so I hope I love it. I literally, that was such a bad update. I literally spent like 5 minutes talking and none of it saved, so. Okay, so my camera's still being a shit, but let's try and get this clip sorted. I've just gotten changed. I've eaten dinner. I'm about to settle in and finish The Forest of Stolen Girls, but while I was making dinner, I did finish Prison Healer. I ended up giving it a 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. It was sitting at a 3 at like 80% because I feel like there were some things that like felt a little like just average. It was just average. I wasn't blown away. A lot of things were a bit tropey, like there was a hidden prince and like, oh, spoiler alert. But that was all pretty obvious, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is just obvious. And then like the final page happened, which kind of threw everything else back into perspective. And there were some things that I'd kind of been side-eyeing, but I was like, you know when you're like, I think I can see that plot twist coming, but maybe it's not. Well, yeah. It's not that I didn't see it coming, it's just it had managed to convince me that maybe I was wrong. And then it kind of like threw everything out, and I was very impressed with the very end, and it's made me really intrigued to read book 2. So in the end I went up half a star. I'm a bit red because I've been cooking and eating hot food, but yeah, I ended up settling on a 3.5 star. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I'm going to finish this and then I'll let you know what I end up rating that. It is a little later than I anticipated, so we might not get to a whole 100 pages of The Fated Sky tonight, but we're going to try our best. Okay, so it's just after 9:30. I finished Forest of Stolen Girls. I really enjoyed it. It's like a high 4.55 stars. I've given it 5 on Goodreads. It was really good. I do think compared to her previous book, it had less plot twists where I was like, wow. But the story itself was beautiful and really well told and stunning and heartbreaking. And the like family dynamics and the sisterhood was just so good that like I can't fault this. It's so good. Can't wait to read whatever Junho writes next. These books are stunning. Love it. I'm going to settle in and work on Fated Sky now and see how much I can get through of the 100 pages. That was my goal. I'm not going to push myself too bad. I'll just read for like the next hour and see how much I get read. And go from there. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm very happy with my progress today. I feel like I'm still on a big roll. I'm reading a lot. I'm happy with myself. And hopefully this weekend will just convert that to even more book energy. So yeah. I'm watching Sailor Moon, so apologies for the background noise, but I just finished reading The Fated Sky. This, I breezed through. Like I was not expecting to finish this tonight. I've read like 300 pages of this today. And loved every minute of it. I nearly cried. Like I was very emotional, but I didn't quite cry. And then I nearly had a heart attack. So it really emotionally got me. This was amazing. I can't wait to read book 3, though I think book 3 follows some different characters and then we're coming back to these characters in book 4. But I've ordered book 3. It's on the way to me. I'm excited about it. I'm now going to switch over to, did I say I gave this 5 stars? I gave it 5 stars. I was very emotionally manipulated. I don't know how to feel. Like I'm having a lot of emotions. the next book I'm reading is Maya and the Rising Dark by Rena Barron, which is a African fantasy middle grade. It's pretty short. It's only, oh, it's almost 10 o'clock, so I'll read for like half an hour before I go to bed. And then hopefully finish it tomorrow because it's not too long. And then the book after that is Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzalez. I feel like I've said this already, but I'm telling you again. But yeah, this kind of destroyed me. It really kind of destroyed me. It really hit with the emotional impact. Like it really went, I'm going to poke you where it hurts. This is a great series. It's very technical, but also in like a really relatable and understandable way. It seems so realistic. Like it's so well researched and so realistic. This also had a big focus of like, our main character is Jewish, but she like is considered white in society. But she has some co-workers that are black and Hispanic and come from a bit of everywhere. There's also a South African apartheid co-worker who's like causing some interpersonal dynamics. He's being awfully racist. Oh, there's a Muslim woman on the team. Like there's a lot of diversity within her team, but then this white South African guy who's being super racist. Like he's being actively, overtly racist, plus all the like subversive societal racisms that are being pushed on them, not from him. Like you're seeing a lot of like the, oh well, you're just relegated to the easier tasks because we don't really trust you because you're different from us, like that kind of attitude. And she's trying to be a good ally, but also coming from her white bias, and it reflects on the way that she can sometimes just make things worse by trying to help, and how her helping is always through a white or white perceived lens. And it kind of delves into that with some of her co-workers like really cutting back at her, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you just standing up for us doesn't help anything. Like that's not convincing anyone of anything. So it I liked that exploration. I thought it was really well handled. But I obviously can't speak to that, so if someone else would like to correct me, that's fine. But I felt like it was really well handled. And yeah, it was really, really good. I loved it to pieces. I can't wait to read book 3 now. I'm so glad I picked this up this month. Hi, classic position, classic Cara. I think I forgot to update you last night, but I read and finished Maya and the Rising Dark last night, but I had to push it. I was hoping to start the next book yesterday evening, but I ended up having a pretty busy day and it just didn't happen. So I pushed to finish it, like 11. I didn't love it. It was like 3 stars. It was fine. It was good. It was enjoyable. I do think some of the like prose was paced a bit weird. Sometimes I complain about pacing of an arc. This was like pacing within scenes where things would change, like develop and happen. I was like feeling out of the loop and struggling to catch up. But the actual world was really fun and I liked the way it was developed. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I would read book 2. So I gave that one 3 stars. And then I've been reading 6 of Crows, like doing my reread on audiobook. I'm still working on that. I'll probably finish it tomorrow, but that'll be in the next vlog. But I read all of Only Mostly Devastated today by Sophie Gonzalez. It was cute. It actually hit me. I ended up giving it 5 stars because it hit me so much more emotionally than I expected. Like I was like, fun, rom-com. And I have this thing where like, I don't feel like I'm a big contemporary person. I went through a stage in high school where I was really into contemporary and I read a lot of it and it was all really straight in particular, and I kind of got worn out on it. Like I wasn't interested anymore. And then when I got back into reading after I went through a fanfiction phase in high school, like later high school, when I got back into reading, like fantasy's always been my mainstay, and it kind of like contemporary. I was interested in it, but everything kind of fell a bit flat. The few things that I read, no, not the few things that I read, the few things that I actually decided to pick up were amazing, but so many of the ideas were falling flat, especially around that like 2011, 2012 era. A lot of the contemporaries just didn't appeal to me. The time that I was really into contemporaries earlier in high school, I was just buying from my library, picking things up from my library and just picking up whatever like had a cool cover. And I was enjoying a lot of contemporaries then, but like the synopses, I wasn't reading synopses, I was just picking things up. And I feel like when I got back into reading, I was much more aware of reading synopses, and nothing was really appealing to me. And no one was really selling me on contemporary, but I feel like with, and I know I hate that it's like a trend, but as queer books are becoming more trendy, I'm seeing a lot more contemporary concepts that are actually appealing to me and that I find interesting. And I'm remembering how much I enjoy contemporaries, and I actually kind of feel like I'm on a contemporary roll. And I know an upcoming book is fantasy, like a YA fantasy, and I think I'm gonna love it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm looking at it like this month is otherwise full of contemporaries except for a few notable exceptions, and I am more excited about all the contemporaries for like the first time in ages. They're not really like ever a big priority for me, but then we hit something like Pride Month and I'm trying to put a bunch of queer books on my TBR and prioritize queer books, and I remember how many queer contemporaries I have, and it makes me really excited and I really enjoy them. But Only Mostly Devastated was so good. I liked the dynamic between the two characters. So it's a Grease retelling, and I think it was actually done, I am out of focus. I think it was personally done really, really well. I think it balanced a good amount of like having all the right tropes and all the right like it's a retelling, not an inspired by, and I thought it hit all the right beats perfectly for that, while not being a direct copy. It I think actually made more sense as a plot line than Grease, because like in this we follow Will and Ollie and they had a summer fling, and then things change in Ollie's private life, like home life, and he ends up going to the school that Will goes to, but Will's not out to his parents or at school, so they kind of are back to square one after having this summer fling, and he doesn't want to come out and he's scared about coming out, and Ollie's like, well, what do I do with you then? Like how do we exist in this liminal space? Because I'm into you, but like do you care about me, like if you don't want to come out to your friends or to your family? But also Ollie's dealing with, like, they're there because his aunt is dying of cancer and he's helping to babysit and look after her kids while she's doing a whole lot of chemo and hospital stuff, and that like broke my heart, that whole storyline. But also like the Rizzo character is bi and has a flirtationship with a girl she kisses at parties. Has Jamie read this? I'm calling Jamie out on my channel, but it felt very jammy. And she's dealing with kissing this girl at parties and she's into her, but the other girl's like being a bit of a, like, no, I have a boyfriend, I just like to kiss girls at parties. There's a plus size side character in the group of friends who's kind of like a combo of the Marty and Jan characters, and I liked her. The boys were all like a little bit messy but like fun, like, yeah, you could see all the parallels really well, but also like the plot made sense. Like it makes much more sense to be scared about coming out, and that's why you've got to like have this whole dynamic at school, like the Danny and Sandy dynamic, versus just like all my friends think I'm a player. Like as a plot, it like objectively makes more sense. And It was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I really do hope I can get to perfect on paper this month, which is her newest release, because I think I'm gonna love it. Yeah, I don't think this relies on you having an understanding of Greece, but if you like Greece, like April was like, oh, I don't know if I was interested because I'm not a Greece fan, and I was like, I don't know, but I don't think it relies on Greece as a trope that you feel like you should know Greece to get it. Like, I feel like it's a perfectly fun, great story without it. And I totally cried, and it was very heartwarming, and I gave it 5 stars. It was really good. Anyway, cutting away from that topic, I'm now reading A Dowry of Blood before bed. It is 10 o'clock, so I'll probably read for like another half an hour, and I'm about 70 pages in, I think. It is very fast going. Yeah, I'm 70 pages in. It's pretty fast, so I'm gonna see how far I can get. It's only 250 pages and flying through, but we'll see how far I get before I go to bed. But I'm really enjoying this. This is a polyamorous kind of, yes, it's polyamorous. It's a Brides of Dracula, but all of the brides are like in a relationship together, and they're like getting revenge on their abusive ex Dracula. And it's much more poetic and like lyrical than that, but that's kind of the premise. And yeah, we only have the one wife that we're following so far, like the voice narrator character. I'm interested to see how everyone else comes in, but I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.